150 years ago, a super El Nino killed nearly 50 million people across the world. And something similar is coming back. The event triggered weakened global monsoons, cascading droughts, crop failures, massive famines, and disease outbreaks, all this leading to millions of deaths. This event was named a Super El Nino, arguably the worst environmental disaster to ever befall humanity. To know more about El Nino, watch this video we did a few days ago. El Nino happens every 2 to 7 years and usually lasts 9 to 12 months, though it can sometimes continue longer. Its trend depends on how much ocean temperatures in the equatorial Pacific rise above normal, and it typically peaks during the northern hemisphere's winter. It's expected to grow stronger through the summer and autumn with a 96% chance of continuing into the winter. The 1877 Super El Nino was the strongest ever recorded in history, lasting around 18 months as sea surface temperatures soared well above the 1.5 to 2 degrees Celsius threshold that defines a Super El Nino. It triggered simultaneous droughts across India, China, Brazil, and East Africa. Because of these synchronized droughts, crops failed on 4 continents at the same time. The sheer scale of the crop failures led to a famine that lasted for 3 years. And in India, the disaster was made catastrophically worse by human hands. Under British colonial rule, grain was being exported out of the country even as millions starved. Florence Nightingale, watching from London, wrote in 1877, "The more one hears about this famine, the more one feels that such a hideous record of human suffering and destruction the world has never seen before." The duration of the crisis exhausted local reserves and led to prolonged human suffering across impacted regions. This event remains the primary historical benchmark for the destructive potential of a Super El Nino. Back in 1877, this staggering loss represented 3 to 4% of the entire world population at the time. According to research published in the American Meteorological Society, between 12.2 and 29.3 million people died in India alone. This is what the impact looked like in 1877, and this is what it could be this year. 150 years later, the Pacific is heating up again, and this time the world isn't watching one disaster unfold, it's watching 3 collide. A potential Super El Nino, a global fertilizer crisis, and the accelerating backdrop of a climate change. So what does this mean for 2026 and specifically for India? The El Nino expected in 2026 could become one of the strongest on record, although scientists say its exact strength is still unknown. Forecasts show a high chance that El Nino will develop by mid-2026 and continue into early 2027. If it becomes very strong, it could push global temperatures even higher, adding to the impact of climate change and making the coming years among the hottest ever recorded. This event could also affect food production. The climate event usually brings drought to parts of Asia and heavy rains to other regions, which can damage crops like palm oil, cocoa, rice, and sugar. And here's where 2026 is different from any previous El Nino. Global fertilizer supply is already under severe pressure. Since February 2026, conflict in the Middle East has effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz, a waterway that carries roughly 1/3 of the world's seaborne fertilizer trade. The FAO has already warned that this will reduce crop yields and tighten food supplies well into 2027. El Nino threatens the rain. The Hormuz closure threatens the fertilizer. Together, they threaten the harvest. Past strong El Nino events have caused major economic damage and extreme weather like droughts and heat waves. While countries are better prepared today, experts warn that a strong El Nino combined with existing global risks could still strain food systems, infrastructure, and public health. Now let's bring this home. Here's what the 2026 El Nino could mean for India, point by point. Extreme heat and health risks. As of May 2026, temperatures have already touched 45 degrees Celsius in Delhi and crossed 48 degrees Celsius in parts of Uttar Pradesh. Heat waves could become more frequent and intense, especially in cities where the urban heat island effect makes built-up areas even hotter. This increases risks to public health, especially for outdoor workers and vulnerable populations. Weaker monsoon and water stress. India depends on the southwest monsoon for about 75 to 80% of its annual rainfall. A strong El Nino usually weakens the monsoon, and the India Meteorological Department is already forecasting roughly 8% below average rainfall this year. Lower rainfall could lead to water shortages, especially in drought-prone states like Maharashtra, Rajasthan, and Gujarat, while some southern regions may still see heavy rains and flooding. Poor rainfall also means reservoirs may not fill fully, affecting irrigation and hydropower. Pressure on agriculture. A weak monsoon directly hits farming as nearly 60% of Indian farmers depend on rain-fed agriculture. Crops like rice, pulses, sugarcane and oilseeds are especially vulnerable. At the same time, fertilizer supplies are under severe strain due to the Strait of Hormuz disruption. Together, these factors could reduce crop yields and put serious pressure on food availability and food prices for ordinary Indians. Economic and power challenges. Lower farm output can push up food prices, affecting household budgets. Extreme heat also increases electricity demand for cooling, putting stress on India's power grid. Hydropower generation could be affected if water levels fall, adding to the strain. A weak monsoon can also slow rural demand and hurt the broader economy. What can be done? Experts say the impact can be reduced with better planning, promoting drought-resistant crops, improving water management, and strengthening heatwave warning systems to protect people during extreme weather. In 1877, nobody knew it was coming. The monsoon just didn't arrive, and 50 million people died. We know it's coming this time. We're watching it build in real time. The IMD has already issued its forecast. The fertilizer crisis is already here. So the question isn't whether this El Nino will be dangerous. The question is whether knowing changes anything.